There we go. So this class is being recorded. This is our KW Connect and Referrals overview class. This should be available hopefully in just a couple of hours today, but at the latest tomorrow at slmtraining.com. So that's S as in Scott, L as in Leroy, M as in marketing, training.com. And then if you're having trouble hearing on your computer speakers, or if you'd rather call in using your phone, that number's been going across the screen a little bit there. I did also send you that in the chat window there. So to get started, let me minimize this here. We're going to get signed into mykw.kw.com. That's how we're going to access KW Connect. Theoretically, you could sign in directly to kwconnect.com, but we've seen so many issues with the login information not working the way that it's supposed to, even though we know that it's correct. It does allow access to mykw. So the easiest way we found is to first sign in to mykw.kw.com. Once you're on your mykw homepage, we're going to go in the top black menu here, and we'll click on Education. That's going to take us directly into KW Connect without having to sign in. It's a single sign-on system, so once you're signed into MyKW, you're also signed into KW Connect. Where it takes us here is the KWU page, Keller Williams University. We're going to cover this in just a little bit, but first, let's click on this KW Connect logo up here in the top left to go to the home page. And that's going to be true for anywhere in the KW Connect system. Anytime you click on that logo, it'll take you here to the home page. Before we go much further, I do want to point out this Accept Cookies button. Unfortunately, you do have to click this button every single time you log into KW Connect. It's going to pop up there every time. It's a requirement by the GDPR passed by the European Union last summer that it has to request that every single time someone visits the site. So you're going to have to click that button every time. On the KW Connect homepage here, we'll just start at the top, work our way down with a quick overview of what's here. The menu here, we're going to go over each of these individually as we move forward. So don't get too much hung up on what these menu items are, but we are going to go over each of these individually. If you look just to the right of the menu, there's a little, what's that called? Magnifying glass icon here. That if you click on that, that's going to open up a search box here in place of the menu. And if you click on that magnifying glass again, it'll close the search box. For the search box here, excuse me, it's a little bit redundant on the home page, but on every other page besides the home page, it's going to be really helpful if you're ever somewhere else within KW Connect and you want to go search for something. You can use this top bar up here. And you can search for anything that's available in KW Connect from this box. If you look to the right of that here, we've got this upload button. That upload means you're going to add some content here to KW Connect that you're going to be sharing with other agents or with other agents, with everybody in KW. And you can upload video, you can share documents, you can share links to external resources, things like that. The most common one, the most popular one is going to be video, followed by people sharing their templates of their maybe, listing agreements or can't think of the word, scripts or things like that. So those are your two most common things that you're going to find in KW Connect, and that's what most people are looking for anyway, so it's a good deal. Just to the right of that, you're going to have in the circle here either your initials or your picture. I don't know why it doesn't have me logged in already. And it takes me over to my profile here. Okay, let's go back to the Connect homepage. Okay, so you should have your picture or your initials in the circle right here. In the menu that drops down here, we're going to go over some of this here. One we're going to spend a good bit of time here is my profile, and I want to make sure to cover that immediately after the homepage here because it affects a couple of other things, so we'll do that after the homepage. Coming down the homepage here, we've got another search box. Now this is only on the homepage that the search box is going to be here. Everywhere else, remember, you've got that magnifying glass icon here to the right of the menu. Underneath that, we've got some banner images that slide through here about new stuff that's coming through from KW International. Right now, it's got the KW app right here. We've got some information about the vision speech from Family Reunion a couple of weeks ago. You can watch that here on KW Connect. Inmin says we're the most innovative, all kinds of fun stuff. And these will change out over time as KW International has new top stories they want to share with you guys here on KW Connect. Underneath that, this really important section here is latest in tech. I feel like they changed that name here on the homepage to Latest in Tech from Latest in Labs, but the series really is Latest in Labs in a general sense. But other technology news is going to show up here in this section. So this is going to be the newest stuff going on with like Command and Kelly and the KW app, the new version that's coming out next quarter. So that's going to be some fun stuff for you to check out, and you can view all of those right there. Underneath that, we've got featured videos here, and I'm not sure, in all my months of doing this, I've never been able to figure out how it chooses which videos to show here on the homepage, whether they're just from KW International, or if they're chosen by KW International, or if they're just newest, or if they're just popular, things like that. I have no idea. But you can change this from viewing videos to other types of content that agents and KW International can upload here to KW Connect. You've got videos, audio, files that have been shared, and then links to external resources. You can also filter this. Right now it's showing just content from KW International. That's why this little icon is red. If you click on this icon here that's gray, it'll show content from both KW International. Oh, sorry. I guess we can't do both on this page. It's only on the search page. We'll cover that in just a little bit. Monica says she's been having trouble when clicking education or anything within MyKW recently. Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help with that during this class. What you would want to do is actually reach out to KW International support. Their number is area code 512-306-7191, and they should be able to help you with that. I have seen that several times in the last week or two. I'm not sure what causes it, but KW International should be able to fix that. Okay, so back here. So you're switching from content from KW International to content from associates. And this is, I'm not sure, again, what this criteria is for showing here on the home page. So you can click through that. Underneath that, we've got near the bottom here, upcoming courses. This is coming from the calendar, and this calendar is all KW Market Centers everywhere, all across North America. And so on March 4th, we're getting a new Train the Trainer workshop starting. Also on March 4th, we've got Growth Through Value starting somewhere. On March 6th, we've got Train the Presenter starting somewhere. And if you want more information about any of these, what are they called, upcoming events, you can click on any of those, or to go view the full calendar, you would go click on View More Courses or My Calendar here. And we'll cover more about the calendar in a little bit. And then under that, trending searches, this is a quote-unquote tag cloud. This is just stuff that people are searching for here on KW Connect. And then this is recommendations from KW International, and then another spotlight video. I don't know why they have that separate section there. Anyway, so that's the home page. Coming back up to the top, we're going to come back to the menu in just a little bit. First, I want to go over here on the right and hover over your picture or your initials, whichever is there. And we're going to click on My Profile, because this profile affects a couple of things. The main thing that it affects is the referral system that's here in KW Connect, where you're sending and receiving referrals to and from other KW agents. So we want to make sure to have this up to date and accurate and good looking. So this profile here, you're controlling the information that shows here. So you've got the picture, the banner image across the top here, your About Me or biography, whatever you want to call it. Your statistics, you can choose which statistics show on your profile or not. Your memberships, so if you're a member of like commercial or luxury or CIPS or things like that, they'll show here. And then you, excuse me, you also tell it your service area right here. So to edit this profile, you probably figured out it's the red link right in the middle that says Edit My Profile. So to edit your Connect profile, we'll just start at the top here. This file here is going to be your picture that was in that circle. It's going to show up here in the top right and then in the circle that was here on the profile. This picture can be as big or small as you want it. It can be any picture you want. You would just choose File, go find your picture, and then upload it. Pretty easy. Underneath that, we've got the banner image here. And if I hover over this little eye circle here, it says required dimensions are width 1920 pixels, height, 313 pixels. And it has to be exactly those dimensions. If it's 1921 pixels wide, it's not going to accept it. If it's 312 pixels tall, it's not going to accept it. It has to be exactly those dimensions. And we actually have a class specifically for how to get your banner image to be exactly those dimensions, sending that to you there in the chat window. Now, if you're watching this on a recording, or I'll cover that in a second. If you're watching this on a recording, you can just send us an email to support@scottleroymarketing.com. We can send you the link to that class very easily. And it does look like we've gotten some additional viewers since we started the class, so I want to reiterate, if you'll look up near the top of your screen here, you should have these same 5 buttons that I do. If you'll click on this one just to the left of center that looks like a speech bubble icon, that'll open up this chat window here. This is where you can send me questions as we go through the class, and it's also where I'm going to be sending things like the link to that class to you guys. So definitely get that chat window up there. I am monitoring that here the whole time. As we move down here, this email is going to be your contact email. Phone number is going to be, I don't know why they have 2 separate phone numbers here. You can have the same number in both spots. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out, I forgot to mention this. This profile is 100% internal. Only other KW associates are going to see this profile. This is not a public client-facing marketing profile. This is not where you're selling yourself to clients or the public. Nobody but other KW agents is going to see this. So you want to treat it differently. You're not trying to load up on different service areas or tags or whatever to try to get clients. That's not what this is for. This is for accurately describing your business to other agents so they can send you referrals or not based on your actual merits. Okay, so contact email, contact phone numbers there. You can use the same phone number here. Under that, we've got service area here. You can list multiple service areas here, and in fact, I forgot to check here whether it shows both. It does show. Okay, so it looks like you can show multiple service areas in this spot, and it will show on your profile. Now you want this to be your real service areas, areas that you actually work in. So say Scott is in Orlando here and he serves, Central Florida, that's listed there also. He's not going to put Pensacola as his service area. He's not going to put Tallahassee as his service area. He's not going to put Miami as his service area because he doesn't work in those areas. You want this to be accurate for other agents to send you referrals. If an agent sends you a referral because they think you work in Miami but you actually work in Orlando, they're going to get frustrated with that and you're never going to get a referral from that agent ever again. So you want this to be accurate for the referral search, which we'll talk about more later. Under that, for this biography, this is again internal. Other agents are seeing this. This is not a client-facing biography, so you'll probably want to use a different biography in this spot for other agents to see versus the one that you use for clients to see. You can talk about the history of your business, your total production, your average production, things like that, and how many referrals you worked with in a year and things like that. So it's a great place to sell yourself to other agents, not to clients. Under that, these are pretty self-explanatory, these social media links. These do require the full http:// blah, 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 the entire link here. And if you want more information about how to find those links, we actually have a class specifically for that. Go figure. And I'm sending that to you guys here in the chat window also. There it is. Coming under that, for this custom tags field here, this is tags that are going to apply to the content that you share here in KW Connect. This is not quote unquote meta tags for a website. Clients are not seeing this. Clients are not searching this. You don't want to gear these tags toward clients. You want these to be accurate, actual representations of what the content on your KW Connect profile is going to be referring to. So say you're a buyer's agent on a team and you only work with buyers and you know a lot about buyer scripts, you know a lot about prospecting, things like that. And say you put in this custom tags, seller scripts or FSBOs or things like that. That's not accurate. That's not what your content has to do with. So when you show up with your buyer stuff under seller searches, people are going to get frustrated. So you want this to be accurate things that your content is actually about here in KW Connect. And then under that, for primary market center, if you remember just one market center, you don't have to do anything here. It's just going to choose that one market center. But if you're a member of multiple market centers, you're going to have the option here in this drop down to select which market center you work out of primarily. That's the market center that you're going to show up under on the search page when we get to over on the search for the referrals network. So choose whichever market center you want to show up under when someone searches for a market center. Now they can still search for your name and your service area that you listed above there, and you would still show up maybe for the other market center service area if that's what they're searching for, but you can only show up under a market center if they search for a market center for one market center, okay? I can't change that. If you have a problem with it, contact KW International Support. Under that, we've got this email frequency section here. This is how often the Connect system is going to send you notifications about things that happen in your KW Connect, whether that's to do with your referrals or your content here in KW Connect. There's no way to turn them off completely. You can just choose whether you get a notification every time something happens, every day, or every week. Under this here, we've got these switches for which statistics you want to show on your profile, so like team name, closed units. Audio is getting bad. Does anybody else have that audio problem here, or is that just James? I'm not getting any response there, so I'm just going to have to keep moving. Okay, I turned off my space heater. I wonder, did that help you guys? It's very cold here in Kansas. Okay. Okay, so I guess it was the space heater maybe causing some EM interference. Wow, holy cow. Okay, so if there's anything I need to repeat because there was something going on with the audio there, definitely let me know there in the chat window. I'd appreciate that. Okay, so in these switches here, you're choosing which statistics to show on your profile or not. You can turn these on or off at your, what's that called? At will, and they should show or not show on your profile. Now, every once in a while, in fact, fairly often, we see that this doesn't actually work the way that it's supposed to. So if I click, so let's say, say I turn all of these off. Actually, let me just turn on time with KW, and I update this here. When I go back to Scott's profile and refresh it, it's still showing all those other statistics here, even though that I've turned them off. If you're experiencing that, you're going to need to contact KW International Support. Again, that's support@kw.com or area code 512-306-7191. Okay, so we've got the profile taken care of here. Now we're going to go across this top menu here. We'll just start here with memberships. Excuse me, if you hover over that, you've got My Memberships, which is whether you're a member of like KWYP, Luxury, Farm and Ranch, Land, Commercial, things like that. It'll show those here. And there are communities here in KW Connect surrounding those different memberships there. And then Explore Memberships is how you can get started joining those other divisions of KW and things like that. For a calendar here, let's click on that. So this is going to be, theoretically, depending on which filters you have turned on, this is going to be all events across all KW market centers if you've got that turned on in the filter here. You can also search by the name, instructor, or topic, the location or time zone, and then any dates. In fact, that's a date picker there, and you can use that search button over on the right. Also, under Advanced Filter here, this is only showing events at the KW International Learning Center in Austin here. So if I apply this filter, it's going to show me events going on there, and it looks like there's a Young Professionals reception at Family Reunion that was last week, but there's not anything else going on this month, and I'm not sure when the next one will be. So let's change this from KW International to All Market Center Events. See what happens, excuse me, when we do that. And it's going to take a minute to load because there's a lot of market center events. Eventually, maybe. Ah, there it goes. So all these green ones here, you'll notice this little dot here next to market center events is green. All these events are green. So that's the filter that you've applied here. You can also filter by what's being hosted by your region, by the region or market centers in your region, by your market center, or KW commercial events. Filter by owner, there's kind of really no point to go over that. You can filter by class type, or by event type. Is it a class? Is it a meeting? Is it a consultation? Is it a live stream or other? Most things are just going to be classes. And this is dependent on market centers correctly categorizing their events. So if they don't categorize their events correctly, these filters aren't going to work. And unfortunately, there's not a way to fix that. It depends on each market center what they're doing. And then filter by connection. Is it online or is it in person? You can filter those, play around with those as much as you want. If and when you find an event that you're actually interested in, like we'll just click on, what we got? Bold. We got Bold here on the 27th, that's today, at whatever this market center is. When you click on that event, it's going to take you to the details for that event. Keller Williams Realty Points East. That's in the Carolinas region. I guess you'd have to go look up what their address is since they didn't put the location here. Got the time that it's starting, and you can click on attend here to express your interest in attending this to that market center. Or actually, is that right? Yeah, and it's also going to show on your calendar. So if we go back to the calendar, I can actually apply a filter for, oh, never mind. Can't apply a filter for that. Scratch that. Let's see what's over here under my training. Does it go there? Okay, so there is what happens. So if you clicked on that attend button on an event here, it's going to show it here under my training. Okay, coming across here to resources, you can click on resources if you want, or actually, can you? Okay, no, you can't. You can't go to resources. There isn't a page for that. But KW Connect Live here, this is a series of live quote-unquote shows that KW International puts together. Usually it's going to be about technology, but it's also going to include things like from Diana Kokoska or MAPS coaching or things like that. Under that, welcome new associates. This is resources for new associates, people that are brand new to KW International, about getting started with technology in your production and education, things like that. Culture here is how KW interacts with people, whether that's as a corporation or as individual associates. And so that gets into Red Day and KW Cares and Profit Share and things like that. So if you want to hear more from like Mo Anderson and the ways that you as a KW associate are supposed to be treating people, whether it's friends, family, clients, co-brokers, things like that, this is where you would want to go find that. For events here, this is going to be the really big ones. Family Reunion, Mega Camp, Masterminds Camps, Red Day, Bold, KW Commercial Retreats, all those things. You can get information about those here. For industry, this is how KW International is affecting the real estate industry, usually on your behalf. And it's also ways to help yourself impact the industry as well. So there's lots of information about that. Keller Mortgage, I don't have a lot of information about because that's pretty much 100% controlled by KW International, by the Keller Mortgage subsidiary of that. This is where you can start signing up for that. If you want more information about that, you just go through this page and contact KW about it because we don't have access to it. We don't have any information about it. KWU was that page that we first started on. When we clicked on education, it took us to this page. And this is where you can find information about different courses that KWU provides to either your market center or the region or at KW International. You've also got your curriculum path for which courses you ought to take to help you build your business. And then information about lunch and learns, and there's interviews with KW leaders. We're going to click on courses here where you can find Ignite. Ignite is under courses, but they brought Ignite out here because it's the most popular course, obviously. But we're going to go into courses. And this is where you're going to find, they've got a couple of dozen courses here provided by KW International. This is where you'll find more information and resources and materials and things like that about these individual classes here. By default, it does sort it alphabetically, so Ignite would be right here. If you sort it by popularity, of course Ignite is going to be right up at the top, followed by, I think, Bold. But you can also get information about 30, 60, 90 classes, ALC clinics, ESO, FSO, all those fun things there. Where are we? MAPS coaching. This is where you can get involved in either individual or group or mastery or bold or things like that. If you want more information about getting started with coaching to bring your business to the next level, this is something that you would do after Ignite and then probably after Bold, even though Bold is listed here. you would want to get involved in that before you really wanted to get into coaching, because Ignite and Bold teach you the strategies to get your business to a certain point, and then coaching gets you past those 2 points. Technology here is where you're going to find a lot of answers about what's going on with KW technology. The Keller Cloud is what it's called. And there's Command. There's the new consumer app that's coming out next quarter, KW Connect, the Kelly app, Cloudmore, which is for MCAs, and then training on the KW technology. There's a lot of answers here. Leverage, when you hear leverage in KW, leverage means hiring. Leverage time really means hiring. So this is information about, what is that class called? Career Visioning. There's a class called Career Visioning, and it's basically how to hire the best person to help your business, which is typically an admin is the very first hire you're going to make. And this has a step-by-step process that if you follow it, you'll usually end up with somebody that's really good for that spot there. It's also talking about, buyers agents, listing agents, lead coordinators, all that, the whole hiring process for how to build your own team. And then profit share. If you want more information about profit share, you would want to contact your team leader. They'd be the best resource for that. You can also check out the information on this page. Over here under Ask Agents, eventually. So what this is supposed to be here is a forum for, let's see, I've got a difficult buyer or a difficult FSBO or something like that. Anybody have tips or scripts or things like that to help me out? What it's turned into instead is, does anybody have this? Does anybody want this? This is looking for a referral. This is broadcasting a referral, which is not what it was intended for. So if you're watching this class, please use this for its intended purpose. There are other ways to look for or broadcast your referral, which we're actually going to be covering in a little bit. What this is for Ask Agents is help performing your business, not looking for business or looking to share business, okay? For technology here, this is going to have a lot of the same information that's on this resources and technology page, so we're not going to cover too much about that here. We're going to skip referrals for right this second and jump over to growth. We'll come back to referrals. That's where we're going to spend the rest of the class here. So here in growth here, we're going to start with really the growth initiative, because that came first, even though alphabetically it's second. The growth initiative started in 2007 as some, what are they called? Mandates from KW International to team leaders about how they were to go about recruiting. And it's the proven strategy that has brought KW International to be the #1 real estate company in the country. It brought us up to, we're currently, looks like 177,000 agents, #1 in production, #1 in units. And that's because of the growth initiative, which got translated into the career growth initiative. But covering the growth initiative real quick, what happened here is KW International put together a program, a system for how team leaders were to approach recruiting. And the #1 thing in that growth initiative system was that team leaders were supposed to go on 40 recruiting appointments per month. And team leaders at first thought, oh my gosh, you're crazy. We are never going to be able to reach that. Here, 12 years later, they're like 40 appointments a month is the minimum. We want to shoot for 50 or 60 if we can. And of those 40 appointments a month, we want X% to be cappers and producers and things like that. So that's how KW has become the #1. James went, oh, you know what? James, thank you for pointing that out. You might not have this button because you're not leadership. I have a leadership role in the Market Center that I'm a member of, or Scott does. Sorry, I'm logged into Scott. So he has a leadership role, so he's going to have the growth initiative here and leadership opportunities. But for you guys, you'll have career growth initiative. Good catch, James. Thank you. Anyway, it has proven to work. It's 100% proven. There's no doubt in anybody's minds. It cannot be any doubt because it has made us the #1 real estate company in the country. So that got translated in 2016, or unless it was 15, to the Career Growth Initiative, which translates those exact same principles that worked for the Growth Initiative to the Career Growth Initiative to help you plan your business and set your appointments and things like that to help you grow your business to be productive and build the life that you want to have. And if you want more information about that, definitely check out that page there and talk to your Market Center leadership. Growth resources, I believe, is also going to be for leadership and leadership opportunities. And then we've got expansion here, which may or may not be for leadership, but that's for basically opening your own market center or expanding your team to another existing market center. Okay, jumping over here to, before we go into referrals, we're going to go to search here. So I'm going to search for something that a lot of people ask us about is they want to know, okay, I want to build a listing presentation or buyer presentation. So let's search for that, buyer presentation. So we've got searches related to buyer presentation. There's courses up here at the top. We've got state of the market down here. And this is going to sort it by newest first and whether or not it actually has anything to do with buyer's presentation. So you may want to change this sort to relevance instead and see what happens there. There we go. Pre-listing presentation for sellers, buyer presentation packet. This is this agent's presentation and just sharing that for you guys to make your own off of. Got another listing presentation, got a live buyer presentation that was recorded, Ignite pre-listing presentation. So all that fun stuff there. You can also search for maybe FSBO script, which is again going to sort by newest first. So we probably want to change that to relevance. 15-word script to give FSBOs to isolate them from all agents. You can also sort this by most popular. This is the one that's going to have the most likes. No, I don't know. I guess KW Connect comes fast first. There we go. How to use script, a listing presentation script, lead gen, listing toolkit, all that fun stuff. So you can search through anything you want to find to help build your business, and it's probably been uploaded either by KW International or by another KW associate. You can also filter by the different types of content that are here in KW International. By default, it's going to search all types, but you can change it to just video, just audio recordings, users who have that tag. I don't know why that's an option there. Here we go. It's not going to show anything there. No, go back. Go back. Documents that people have uploaded that match that. There we go, buyer presentation packet, all that fun stuff. Links to external resources, courses, all that fun stuff there. Okay, before we jump over into the referral section, which is where we're going to spend the rest of this class here, does anybody have any questions? Remember to ask me those questions. You'll look up at the top of the screen here. You should have these same 5 buttons. If you'll click this button just to the left of center that looks like a speech bubble, that'll open up the chat window, and that's where you'll send me those questions. I am monitoring that there. Okay, looks like I'm not getting any questions, so we'll move on to the My Referrals section here in KW Connect. Now, if you ever want to go directly to this referrals section, you can actually do that directly from the My KW homepage. I'll show you that in just a minute whenever it decides it wants to load. That's this big red button here that says My Referrals. That'll take you directly to this referral section here in KW Connect. So what I'm looking at here is Scott's referral network, and it looks like he has approved a couple more people than he had last time. It used to be just Rob here. I don't know where those other 4 people came from. But Scott's referral network, audio is bad again. Okay, the what's it called? The heater is not on, so I'm not sure what's happening. Is it just James that's having bad audio, or is it everybody? That's very strange. Let me try toggling my microphone. Yeah, really the only thing I can do is just toggle the microphone to see if it'll fix itself. Unfortunately, there's not really much else I can do. Okay, Monica says it's better. Okay, so apparently it's not bothering too many people, so we'll keep moving. So this is Scott's referral network here. This is the list of agents that he's going to send referrals to or receive referrals from on a regular basis. The one problem with that is Scott is not an agent, so he can't do either of those things. So don't add him to your referral network. There's no point there. Don't add me to your referral network. There's no point. I'm not an agent. I don't have referrals to send, nor am I going to work with referrals. No point. Where was I there? So let's see. Let's start with adding someone to your referral network. So we're going to go over to the right here and click on Grow My Network. This is how you're going to add people to this list here, so you can have that short list of people that you're actually going to do business with. So that takes us here to the map search here. And before we get up into these filters here, we're just going to go search by a zip code. We'll do 90210. Okay, I guess zip codes don't work very well. Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills. So what it's going to show me here by default, without changing any of the other filters, is what's called production here. The map view is production, and each of the dots that's going to show here on the map is a closed unit from a KW agent in this service area, which is going to be a lot in this area. There we go, 1102. And by default, this is going to sort this list over here on the right by the number of closed units, both buy side and sell side. You can change this sort by name, units, listings, buyers, or leases, or you can randomize it if you're just looking for a random person to send your referral to. If you want to filter this down, you can change the map view here from production to either market centers or my network. If I click on, we're going to skip market centers first, so we'll go to my network first. And it's a very slow process here. What it's going to show here is if there are any agents with production in this service area that I searched here that are already in my referral network so that I can send them referrals. There aren't any in this area. So we're going to switch over here to market centers. And this is going to show me on the map the different market centers in this area. It looks like there are 6. If I click on a particular market center, it's going to show me the agents in that market center and sort those again by, well, it looks like random, but you can sort by like closed units and things like that. Looks like the highest producing agent in this area is the Chuck Marquardt, 56 closed units in the last 12 months. And that is going to be not the 12-month calendar year, 12-month previous year. So this would be like up until the end of January last year. So next month it may be different. It depends. Excuse me. Where was I? So from this list here, you can either add this person to your referral network, send them an invite, or just send them a referral directly without adding them to your referral network. It used to be when the system first came out, you could only send a referral to someone who was already in your network. Either you had accepted their invitation or they had accepted yours. Apparently enough people complained about not being able to unsolicitedly send referrals to agents they'd never met, and KW International changed that. I don't agree with it, but enough people wanted it, so they changed it. What was I saying here? And then also, if you click this little down arrow to the right, you can get a little bit more information about Chuck. He's got his phone number there and his email, and you can give him a call or send him an email to talk about potentially working with referrals outside of this system. I don't know why you would want to do that, because it tracks those here and it keeps track of your numbers and their numbers, and it's good to have that information. Okay, so let's close this here. We've got additional filters here. I'm going to go back to production here. Eventually. Okay, so additional filters here, we've got closed units, listings sold, buy side, leases, KW specializations, and events. And we'll start at the right here. Events is which events has this person attended whenever it decides it wants to load. Did they attend MegaCamp in 2018? And if I check that and filter it, it's only going to show me agents who went to MegaCamp. There were 58, and Luke Jones is the highest producer that actually went to MegaCamp. I'm gonna uncheck that because, you know what, no, let's leave it. And then if we come over here to KW specializations, this is gonna be those basic communities that I was talking about earlier. They're in maps coaching, if they're GPS, luxury, commercial land, blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna do any of those filters here because we're already pretty narrow right here. You can say, I want this person to have worked with or closed at least X number of leases, X number of buy sides, X number of sell sides, or X number of total units closed, combining both list and buy side. So I want at least, we're going to call it 25, not 250, 25 closed units, whether buy side or sell side in this area that also went to MegaCamp 2018. It looks like it's just Luke and Richard here. So what I could do at this point is I could either invite or send the referral to either one of these guys, Or we've got another option here of broadcast referral. This is what people have been using Ask Agents for, but instead it's actually built right into the referral system right here. So you don't need to use Ask Agents for this. You can broadcast this referral to all the agents that meet these criteria here. So if I click on this button, it's going to show me the form to submit information about this referral. These agents are only going to see this information above this blue section until if and when you say, okay, this person gets the referral because they responded to me in a way that I liked. So you're going to tell them, is this a buyer, seller, or renter, the requested referral fee, the amount of time they have to accept or deny this referral request, and the price range that this buyer or seller or renter is looking in. This is the only information that Luke and Richard would get here. Under that, we've got the name and the location and email, phone, all this fun stuff here. Luke or Richard would get this after you decided, okay, I want to give this referral to one or the other. And excuse me, I do want to point out that all of the fields here are required. There are no optional fields when you're broadcasting a referral or when you're sending a referral to an individual agent. All fields are required. So to talk more about that, I don't want to actually broadcast this referral to these two guys because A, I'm not an agent, B, I don't really have a referral, C, they've never heard of me, so I'm not going to confuse them that way. So I'm going to close that there, and instead I'm going to go to my last option here in the top right, which is search by name. So I'm going to search for me. So I'm logged into Scott's account here, so I'm going to search for my name. And in the search results here, it's going to show two sections. My referral network, so this is people that meet this search that are already in your network, or out of your network, which means they're not in my network yet, so I can send them an invitation. So when you're sending an invitation to somebody to join your referral network, this is what it looks like. You have the option to send a message if you want to. You don't have to, but it's always good to introduce yourself to somebody when you're sending them a referral request. So you can send that invitation there. And then it also, once you're done there, it gives you the option to send them the referral, whether or not they accept that network invitation. You can send them the referral outside of that. And it's the same fields here, and again, they are all required. So I'm going to send a referral from Scott to me. And I'm going to leave, I'm going to do this here. This is going to be a buyer referral. He's going to request 69% of my commission, which is ridiculous, and we'll talk more about that later. And I've got 3 hours to respond to that. So this buyer is looking in the 150,000 to 850,000 range. It's a very wide range. This client's name is Joe, I don't know, Schmo. That's the only thing I can think of. And by default, the location is going to be my service area or the service area of that agent, whatever they put in their KW Connect profile. If you're wanting to put something outside of that agent's service area, why? Because you already know where they work. That's how you found them. Anyway, client email is going to be joeschmo at, gmail.com. Phone is going to be 312-362568. You have to put in a real phone number here. It checks that. And then how soon is this person looking to buy or sell or rent? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or a custom range, which you can make 4 months if you want. And then if it's a buyer, is this person pre-approved for a mortgage? I'm going to check that box that says yes. And then you do have to include a note. This is not optional, it's required. So this is my cousin who just landed a great job there in York. So we'll send that referral there. So now what I would do is come back to my referrals here in Scott's side, and I'm going to split screen this to between Scott's referrals over here on the left and mine over here on the right. Okay, so two things to address here is the first, the referral network invitation that Scott sent to me. I can find that here under pending invitations. I also got an email notifying me about that request. I also got a notification in Kelly telling me that Scott wanted me to join his referral network. I also got those notifications about the referral that Scott sent to me. So there's multiple ways to respond to requests like that, both here on KW Connect in the referral section and in Kelly. And if you want to know more about how to do that in Kelly, check out our class that we had last week. We do that the third Wednesday of the month. And we have those recorded again at slmtraining.com. So I'm going to go here to pending invitations to find Scott's invitation. I also have several invitations from other people that I've never heard of, and I'm not going to accept those. There's no point. I'm not an agent. I can't work with your referrals, and I can't send you referrals. But for Scott here, I am going to accept this for the purposes of illustration. So I'm going to go back to the referral section here. So now what we've got is, whenever it finishes loading here, well, I can cover what's over here on Scott's. We've got 3 sections for referrals here. We've got awaiting response, inbound, and outbound. All referrals until they're accepted are going to be under awaiting response. And it's going to show that on both sides of the referral. It's going to show it on Scott's side and on my side. So, excuse me. There we go, one awaiting response here. So if I click on that, I can go to that section here, and I can see that response from, or excuse me, that referral request Scott sent to me. Got that referral fee and that price range and all that fun stuff. Now, say I didn't like the 69% referral fee, which none of you would like that 69% referral fee for working with a buyer. So instead of accepting this referral as it is, I'm going to either counter that or reject it. If I counter it, I can ask for a lower referral fee here, or if I reject it, I can just say, hey, no, that's stupid. I'm not going to work with you. We're going to counter it, and I'm going to bring that referral fee down to a more reasonable, since he was being really dumb, 20% here. And I'm going to give him 24 hours to respond to there. And I'm going to put a note in here. I hope that 69% was an accident because that was ridiculous. So I'm going to counter that from me back over here to Scott. So if I refresh Scott's here, actually I could have just gone directly into awaiting response. Actually, while I'm waiting for this to load, I mentioned that class on Kelly, sending you the link to that there. Okay, so if I go here into, why did I go to closed referrals? I think it accidentally clicked something. I'm going to go to awaiting response here. Now the referrals awaiting Scott's response to my counter. So now the ball's in Scott's court here. And he has the option to counter again, to reject it himself, or to accept it. I'm going to go ahead and accept it because, yeah, that 20% is, yeah, something like that. You can also call or email them to talk about it. So Scott is going to accept my counter of his referral request. So now that moves that down here to outbound. And if I refresh this page, it'll move it to inbound on my side. So outbound means from Scott, inbound means to me. So what I can do at this point is you say, no, say I go working with this client, I gave them a call, we've got an appointment scheduled at such and such time. I can send an update from me back to Scott about how the transaction is going. So called, appointment scheduled for Friday at 3, something like that. So I can send that update from me over to Scott. If I refresh it over on Scott's side, he'll have that note here. Eventually. There we go, there's that note. And you can go this back and forth. In fact, Scott could even send me an update about, hey, watch out for, you know, whatever. Watch out for his current girlfriend, she's picky, or his current girlfriend, she's a gold digger, or something like that. Scott could send me notifications as well. And you can go back and forth with that. And then as the transaction comes to a close, whether it made it all the way through the closing table or it fell through for one reason or another, you would want to close that referral. And there's 2 options here. Did it close or did it not close? If it closed, good to go, submit, you're all done. If it did not close, excuse me, you're required to provide a reason why it didn't complete. Financing fell through, the new job fell through, I didn't like this person, it didn't work, something like that. So we're gonna say your cousin, girlfriend is crazy. She wouldn't let him settle for anything less than, oops, 900K, something like that. And we'll submit that here. So that moves that from my referrals here, from active referrals, any of these categories here, to closed referrals. And you can do view closed referrals right here. So let's talk about the whole process to getting through there. So we're in my referrals. We'll go to referrals. And then we would do view closed referrals. And there's a lot of referrals back and forth between me and Scott because of every time I've done this class. Not a way to remove them, but it's going to keep track of anything that did or did not close here. So we've got different categories in this section. Expired means neither of us accepted or countered the offer in the time limit. Rejected means one of us decided, no, I don't want to work with that client. Lost means it didn't make it all the way through to closing. And then funded means it did make it all the way through to closing. And you can view the activity log on any of these referrals here. It's going to show the oldest down here at the bottom and the newest up at the top. April, May, yeah. And you can view any of the information about those. You can also, for referrals that closed or did not close, that were not rejected or expired, you can even reopen those referrals to start working with them again if that client came crawling back to you. Okay. Let me make sure here. I feel like that's the most important stuff to cover about KW Connect and referrals, and we're right on time here. So if anybody has any questions, this is the perfect time for those. If you'll look up at the top of your screen, you should have these same 5 buttons that I do. If you'll click this one just to the left of center that looks like a speech bubble, that'll open up your chat window and you can send me your questions if you have those. And don't be shy about sending your questions. Probably someone has the same question that you do. And if they're not in the class right now, they may have that question on the recording later. So definitely send over those questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Or if there are, you guys are probably smart enough not to ask them. So I will leave it open for just a minute or two waiting for those questions. That'll do it for our KW Connect and Referrals overview class for today. This recording should be up within just a couple of hours at slmtraining.com. If it's not there today, it should be there by tomorrow. Everybody have a great day.